Welcome to Coley Crowns. I'm Ashante.
And I'm Lori, and welcome to our Queen.
Welcome. So we
I'm
might be having
sorry.
some technical difficulties, but just bear with us. We like to do our little videos kind of like unfiltered, unedited as much as possible because such is life. Things happen. So bear with us. But welcome and thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscription button, like, and share.
Please.
So this week we are bringing them to the throne. So we're just going to be discussing several different topics that are like currently in the news and giving our little take on it. So Lori, what's our first topic for today?
So, our first topic for today is these unemployment benefits that have been, I think it started over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that they started this extra unemployed benefits for people that are out of work due to the pandemic, and how that's resulting into like the low workforce for people to return to work in the service industry or maybe lower paying jobs. And I wanted to bring this topic up because I do feel like I guess there's a dichotomy here on, okay, if we keep giving people money to basically stay at home and collect the unemployment check, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Or is there a bigger issue here that the reason why people don't want to go back to work is because they're making $9 an hour and they can't afford to feed their families or pay rent or do normal things that people need to do, especially in, bigger cities that everything is super expensive. So I just kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit more. I don't think it's because people want to live off of the government, but I do feel like this is probably their opportunity to either pay down some debt or just have a little break in life, because eventually people have to go back to work and this is not going to be forever. So what's your thought on that?
Yeah. No, I remember last year at the beginning when they were starting to debate about the unemployment benefits and how much to give. A lot of the Republicans were against it because they were saying this is going to encourage people not to go back to work. They're just going to stay home and collect unemployment and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, is it though? Because, like you said, it's going to stop, it's going to end at some point, right? It's not like this extra benefit is going to continue. Um, and unemployment usually is not enough to really survive. It's enough to survive off of, but not to really live like a
Right.
comfortable life that people are just going to be able to just not ever work again.
Right.
So I think in addition to what you were saying about like right now using it as a time to say, okay, let me try to maybe pay off some bills and do whatever with these additional funds that we have currently, we still are in a pandemic. So I read a story about a guy who had to leave his job. I think he didn't qualify for unemployment, or maybe later he did end up qualifying for it. But he had to leave his job because he was living at home, helping take care of two parents who had pre-existing conditions, and he worked in the
Mm-hmm.
service industry. So he was like, I couldn't put my life at risk, get COVID, take it home, and then give it to my parents. So he decided to
Right.
not work. And I think of all the other stories that may be out there of people in very similar situations, or people who maybe have decided not to go back to work yet because they themselves have pre-existing conditions and are still very weary of maybe getting COVID because, again, everybody is not following the safety measures and the guidance that's been provided, and not everyone is going to get vaccinated. So you have to protect yourself. And so I think
Right.
sometimes these benefits were very helpful for people who could say, okay, I that's one less thing off on my shoulders, right? I don't have to work. I don't have to put myself in this possible condition of getting COVID, and I can stay home and still get some unemployment benefits. So I don't think it's preventing people from not going back to work. But I think people are just slowly still trying to get themselves together and decide what's going to happen, whether it's
Right.
safe or not to go back to work.
Right. And I mean, like, because I've been seeing all these stories about, oh, there's vacancies all over the place. Like, wait staff is down, that people are ramping back up and going back out, and they don't have enough people to work. And I'm just like, you guys are not actually paying these people, and they can't even afford normal day-to-day activities with the money that they're getting paid. And now with these different governors that are pulling out of the relief package that the federal government is giving, why are you doing that? What benefit does that give you, the people that probably voted you in, or the rest of the people that's in the state? Why do you have to come opt out of something that's ongoing from the federal government? So I
I'm
just
going to
feel
take
like,
a guess and think that most of those states are probably very service industry heavy or
mhm,
tourist heavy areas. And so,
yeah,
in order to get the tourists and to get the people here, they need the people back working. And
they
so,
still come.
yes, if we cut off those extra benefits, then that will motivate people to get back
Force
into
people to go back to work.
working. That's what I can see is the thought process
I get
in
you.
doing that.
I
But
get
as you said, a lot of these service industries, like my understanding of working like at a restaurant, your minimum wage could be $2, $3 an hour. And majority of your money comes from tips. So if you are, like you were saying earlier, say a person who has a pre-existing condition who is susceptible to maybe catching COVID and possibly dying or having family members, why put yourself at risk for $2 an hour?
And then tips, if you're thinking about what we've gone through, I think just now restaurants are getting back to full capacity. That means there was less people giving you tips
Right.
for you to just be out there exposed to make $2 an hour. Like, come on, y'all. I don't even know how that's still legal, that you have an industry that can still pay such a low hourly wage anyway, with the thought process that people then have to tip you when they don't have to tip you. I don't understand none of that. It's so
They
strange
don't.
to me.
I don't know. I feel like America, we want to be the first and the big country for everything, but
Hey, doggy.
downstairs Cody, he over there trying to be the man of the house.
Bear with us. We done told you to bear with us. That's a part of it too. Okay.
So, um, I forgot my thought process. What I was gonna say.
That America wants to be,
Yes, thank you.
all
Okay, yeah, get
number
that America right. I always want to go and save the
one
world
this,
and
number one that.
doing all of that. Yes,
Yep.
but we can be so backwards on certain things. So, like, it
Mhm.
makes me think about like a lot of those European countries where tipping is already included in the price. So you don't have to worry about tipping and how much, what percentage trying to do math. It's already a part of the price.
Right.
So you just give whatever the price is on the, the receipt that you receive. But if, there was a over and beyond service, if you wanted to tip above that, you could, but you didn't have to. I feel like that's such an easy
Right.
fits to the whole situation that people are not
Yeah.
going, trying to bend over backwards to try to please somebody, right, in their service just to try to get maybe a 10% tip, you know? So I don't know, I feel
Right.
like sometimes we can be backwards and that could be something that the service industry could easily maybe fix and come together and say, okay, we're going to start adding tip, like standard maybe 15% on top of every bill. That way, you don't have to worry about things because like you're saying, if you only making $2 an hour and you trying to go home, work like a dog, trying to still be safe, and people maybe tip you, maybe not. That's not worth it. I will be home
No.
collecting my unemployment too until I can find
Well,
something better or until I have to go back to work.
Right. And some of those people, when they get tipped, they got to share it with the hostess. They got to share it with the bartender. They got to share. I'm like, what? Excuse me? I would be like, can you give me my tip outside? Ain't nobody got time for this. So yeah, it's just ridiculous. But that's what I want to bring up. That was our first topic. Ashante, what's your topic?
So, girl, so I was just reading or hearing stories about Nick Cannon and how he is about to have his seventh child. And I said, wait, Nick Cannon? Like that Nick Cannon from Nickelodeon days that like I know he's a man now, but he's like right there age wise with us. And it's just like, ooh, dude, you know, be more what the Bible says, be fruitful and multiply. Yes. So
all over the place.
All over the place. So Nick Cannon is, let me read the story from People. Let me cite my sources, people.com.
Okay,
are saying that he is currently expecting twin boys from one person. He just welcomed a fourth child named Powerful Queen in December 2020. He has a 3-year-old named Golden. And he has the two twins from Moroccan and Monroe from Mariah Carey. And then now this new baby that's allegedly on the way. 7.
Powerful. So what do you call, like when she's in school, you say powerful. You say PQ? Maybe say PQ.
Oh, little PQ, a little nickname for her.
Hey, PQ.
Maybe. So, but yeah, so that was my bring to the throne. It's Nick Cannon out here having 7. And I read a comment somewhere that's like, don't he got autoimmune disease? So he out here just raw dogging it with the autoimmune disease. I was like,
he has, what does he have? Lupus?
I think it is lupus.
It's lupus. I mean, they got medication for that. First of all, he has enough money to survive forever. Okay.
And listen, you hear I didn't mention nothing about not being able to support them because he can support them. That's not an issue. He can support them.
Those are the ones that's supposed to have all these dang children. Don't be out here having, like on Iyanla Fix My Life, having 30 children and having a regular job out here. Stop it.
No. One thing we do know, Nick Cannon, he keeps a job. He gets a job and he keeps a job.
So. He'll lose the job and get it back. So listen, that's okay. You can have as many children as you want. Enjoy your life.
So you're taking care of them. Yep. Mm-hmm. So that was my bring to the throne. That's it.
Lord. Okay. Go ahead, Nick. Do you? And the Masked Singer is over again, child. I just be looking at who gets revealed on there.
Oh, who won?
Nick Lachey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Wiz Khalifa was on there in the final 3, and JoJo was on.
Oh, okay. I did not watch it all this season, so I didn't know.
I looked at, because I guess I used to watch and look it up, so Google just look who was,
always watching. Always looking out for you.
Right. So when Bobby Brown got revealed, I was like, oh my God.
I did.
I wanted to go back and like watch some of the performances, but I was just like, I just don't care. I don't care. Don't care. That's probably how Nick got COVID, because he was out here just smashing all these people. Remember he got COVID?
Listen.
Okay, I'm sorry. That was allegedly. Sorry. Let me not go there. Rewind that. Next, I just want to talk about this horrible movie that I watched called The Woman in the Window on Netflix. I don't know if y'all seen it, but I read the book. Read meaning listened to it on audiobook. And the story on the audiobook was just okay, but it wasn't terrible. The movie was horrific.
Who's in it?
Amy Adams, Gary Oldman, Anthony Mackie with about 5 lines. And then I recognize some of the other people, but they weren't like these big Paper Boy. Why don't I know his name? Paper
Paperboy.
Boy, all of Paper
Paperboy.
Boy. I don't know his name though.
Yeah, I know what you're
But
talking about.
what is his name? It's like right there. Tyree something. Okay, I'm terrible at this. I'm sorry, guys. So watch that movie on Netflix. Just why they had to make it? It made it bad. They made it bad on purpose. They did.
On purpose.
They did. They just kept adding weird stuff to it. They like cut out, and I understand the book to movie adaptation. You can't put every single thing that was in the book in the movie, but it was just like you took out the reason why you were rooting for the protagonist. You can't take that piece out because then you're just like, who is this crazy lady and why is she doing this? It just seemed dumb. And then they were trying to mix in like hitchhiking things in there and weird, just
What
like.
was the movie about?
So the movie was about a agoraphobic woman that was like trapped in her house because of herself. And there's like this big reveal about her family, but basically she spends her days day drinking, night drinking, popping pills because of, I guess she was in depression. That's why she was agoraphobic, and watching her neighbors, right? So she watches her neighbors. Like in the book, she catalogs, this neighbor is doing this one, this neighbor is cheating, this neighbor is doing that. So that was interesting to me to just have somebody just a peeper.
Observing and
and just like noting things down, taking pictures, all kinds of stuff. So she's
watching a great neighborhood watch president. Huh?
Hello, she's always alert. So she basically witnesses a murder, right? And she calls the police. She tries to go outside to solve it, but she passes out.
So she passed out when she went outside.
Because she can't do it. So she basically tells everybody, hey, I saw this murder. I know blah, blah, blah. And nobody believes her. They say the lady's still alive. No, there was no murder. And it's just kind of like, she's thinking, am I going crazy? I thought I saw what I saw. So it's just the reveal of, was there a murder? Then who did it, if there was, and like, how this is going to kind of wrap up in the end. But it was terrible. Terrible. I mean, you pay these people to be in this movie just to be terrible.
You said that's on Netflix?
Yeah, I'm surprised Netflix actually paid that much money to do that, but it is what it is. Y'all check it out if you want to, but it's just so.
Well, let's take this time to let people know. Well, Lori, you finished it. I just started listening to 9 Perfect Strangers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening to it on Audible, and there's going to be a series coming out in August, I believe, on Hulu of this. So if you want to, be sure to start listening, and then in August we'll watch and we can recap a little bit of that show and make it kind of like a book club watch party. I don't know what to call that, but check it out. 9 Perfect Strangers. What's the author name? You said you've read some of her other books, right?
Leanne Moriarty.
Leanne Moriarty. Okay.
Yeah.
So check that out. Join us as we, in August, we'll talk about that series on Hulu. Okay. So the next topic we are bringing to the throne. Y'all heard of Dr. Umar? Y'all heard of him? Y'all know anything about him? I became familiar with him, I think, from watching Breakfast Club interviews. I think that's the first time I heard of him. And from what I remember, he called himself doctor. And I remember there was this controversy over whether he really was a doctor or not, and whether he had got his actual, I think it may be an EDD, not a PhD, but it was like some talk about that.
But wasn't there something else that they were going to take it away from him too? Oh, I forgot about that controversy.
I don't
but go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah. Okay, so he wants to build a school, and I think he's been trying to build a school for the last 50 some years. I'm over exaggerating. It's been like the last 10 years or something like that. But it's been a very long time that he's been trying to build the school for basically for Black kids, teach them Black pride and make sure they get the education that they need, because sometimes in traditional school settings, teachers may not give the attention that students need, or if they are, I don't want to say misbehaving or disruptive, because they're kids, and they're just kind of still learning and they just got the energy. But how sometimes a lot of these schools will be very quick to medicate kids in these instances. So I think he was trying to build a school that kind of took those things into consideration and better prepare. That's what I remember. Again, I don't remember the whole story. I don't know. I could be wrong with some of these details, but I do know he's trying to build a school, and he's been trying to get money for the school for a long time. Go look up Breakfast Club. You can find interviews and get more information. But Lori was gracious enough to share a story with me last week, I believe it
Wait,
was.
before you go there, I was just trying to look up to see where the school is, to see if there was actually a building.
I want to say, do they actually have a foundation? I mean, that's good if they at least have a foundation.
I mean, because, okay, so like what Ashante was saying, Dr. Umar has been on the Breakfast Club a couple of times. So this last time, he was still asking for money for renovations. So to me, that makes it seem like there is actually a building. But people still say there ain't no dang school. So I was just trying to Google it really quick. But I see him in a building, but I just don't. He just comes off as a little scammer. So I'll let Ashante explain the video that I sent to her.
So the video she sends me is him in a casino. And I guess he thought he was going to film himself and they were going to.
He looks like he was in Vegas. You know how they have those slot machines in the airport? He looked like he was going somewhere. It didn't look like a real casino.
Okay.
It looked like it was like at that Vegas airport, but it's not just Vegas that has that. I think Reno has, like, there's other places that have slot machines in the airport.
Okay.
That's what it looked like.
I didn't pay attention too much of the background. I just remember seeing him in front of like the little slot machine, and he's like, "Okay, family, we gonna put this money in. We gonna win. We gonna get this money for this finish the school and blah blah blah. I don't even know how to play, ma'am. Can you come show me? Can you teach me how to play this machine? Okay, so I put my money in here, and then I pull down the lever. I hit the button and blah blah blah. Okay, that man put in $20 and lost $20 and was like, oh man, family, what we gonna do? Okay, I need y'all to send me the money. Like Lori said, it just comes off very scammy. Like, oh, what was that one person that was on the internet? Joanne, the scam artist or something?
Oh, yes, Joanne the scammer.
Yeah, that's what this kind of comes off as, because you've been trying to raise this money for years. And there hasn't been anything really tangible that people can say, okay, my money is going towards this. And he has done at least this. There's no deliverables that have been turned in. That comes from our work background. Regarding this. So now you at this casino talking about you gonna try to win money for the school, you lose money, and then gonna be like, okay, I need y'all to send me money.
He said,
I'm not sending you nothing.
He said the ancestors don't want me to have the money this way. So please PayPal me and send me money. Donations to FDMG Academy. Okay. So
what does it stand for? You have the what the acronym stand for?
Yeah. It's the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, right? And he says the school will teach 6 key sciences: economic and financial science, dietary and nutritional science, science of the community and family, political science, spiritual science, and the science of being men. And I mean, it's like, I like his thought process of what he's trying to do, but some of the stuff I was just like, what? So he says promises made by Dr. Umar. The school will be open by August 2020. That probably, even if that was the case, 2020 was horrible. There will be no out of school suspension. Parents will never be told to come get their child. Students will not be called the N word by teachers. No boy will be arrested inside of FDMG Academy. Students will eat a 90% raw vegan diet. Students will learn an African language and African martial arts. Community service will be a critical aspect of instruction. Parents will never receive a phone call from the teachers recommending dangerous medications for learning disorders like ADHD. And Dr. Umar promises to teach history, life, and the works of Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey to all students. And then there'll be another school open for girls. So I guess this is an all boys school that he's trying to do. Ciao.
I mean, like some of the things you read, I get it. I actually think those are good, nice key concepts to instill into our children. But how he getting there, it just seemed real suspicious to me.
It does.
And why haven't any other backing come? Like, he's been out there enough that I'm not saying he's a celebrity, but celebrities, I'm sure, have been familiar, and that if they really were like, oh man, this is something I stand by, would be like, okay, here, let me give you, like, team up with people. LeBron just built a school. LeBron done built a school before this man has. And I know LeBron has the money.
He has the money, but he still partnered with people. It's not like he just did this by himself. Diddy did it. He partnered with that teacher. I can't remember his name. Stephen Perry.
Oh,
so that, like what you're saying, that's what you have to do. You can't just build a mountain. Well, you can try to build a mountain on your own, but then you come off like a scam artist when you've been collecting money for, it has to be over 10 years now.
And it has to be other like-minded individuals that really want to provide the funding that and have the money to help him, or to help him raise the capital or something. There's something there. And he's been on the Breakfast Club enough times that, again, connections. You should have been able to make some connections.
Or just open a school. You don't actually need a, what is it, $2 million facility to have this school. You can start with 10 students in a storefront, or in a, there's buildings everywhere that you can probably convert for less money than what you're trying to ask for. And then you get to that level. I know everybody wants to start big and grand, but why don't you just start, if your passion is about connecting with these students and educating these students, you can start with a smaller scale.
Yes. And if anything, with COVID, if COVID taught us anything, we can do stuff online like 100%. He could have went and developed a whole lesson plan, homeschooling thing, and then implementing that now. Get the students, show that it's working, and then that helps you build more capital. So use what money you have been able to raise, and maybe use that to create the curriculum needed to create a homeschool environment, and start from there. I don't know. It's just like Lori said, it's just some scammy vibes from him. Not saying that he is a scam artist. We're not saying that. But, you just get a little side eye to him a little bit, trying to figure out what's happening. But y'all go Google and check that video out. Yeah. And go watch his interview so you can get the full background and story about who he is and what he's trying to do.
Yeah, he does make a lot of good points. He was promoting his book about kind of how you can combat the school system and diagnosing your child with like some kind of learning disability, and how you go about that process. I was interested in seeing what that book looks like. I don't know if I'm gonna give him money, because he does give me a little bit of the vibes, but maybe I mean, you never know, because I do think there is an increase in the amount of people that kids that they're trying to diagnose and put on medication that maybe not necessary for them. You don't want to have your kids just zombied out when they're in school. They still need to have some spunk, and those drugs kind of mellow you out a little bit. So I understand that piece. But yeah, Dr. Umar gave me a laugh. It was hilarious. Hilarious. Okay, so our last topic of Bring Him to the Throne is a little bit more serious. It is the hundredth, is that how you say it?
100.
100th anniversary of the Tulsa Race Massacre, also known as the Black Wall Street Massacre, that happened on 2 days, May 31st and June 1st of 1921. And I'm just going to read a little bit kind of a background of what happened. Um, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, mobs of white residents, many of them deputized and given weapons by the city officials, attacked Black residents and businesses of Greenwood District in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was one of the worst incidents of racial violence in American history. That attack carried out on the ground and from private aircrafts and destroyed more than 35 square blocks of the district. At the time, the wealthiest Black community in the United States, known as Black Wall Street. So there's a lot more. Oh, I'll read this too. More than 100 people were admitted to the hospital, and many as 6,000 Black residents were interned in large facilities, and many of them for several days. They recorded 36 people dead, but they kind of went back and realized that there was probably more people that died. It just wasn't recorded. So I know they're having several remembrance, either walks or speeches that's being done in Tulsa over this weekend. And I think they're going to have a couple more things like Tay will tell us about regarding storytelling of what actually happened during that time. But I just kind of wanted to bring that up because, you know, this is probably one of those things that have been whitewashed over time. And it's hard to get all of the information out of what actually happened in our country, you know. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up as we go through the 100th year of that
Had
happening.
you had you heard of that story before? Did you know about that?
Yeah, but not like in school. I don't remember learning about that in school or college. It was like later on in life that I heard about that, and you know, like what happened in Central Park, and you know, just little stories that wasn't a part of my American history or social studies that I never heard any of those things.
Okay. Yeah, now I remember learning that maybe high school, not in high school, but in that age range. I
Mhm.
remember hearing about the story of what happened there. And as you say, we don't learn a lot about America, what happened in America to our people. Like we are a part of American history, but we get excluded from so much. And I started hearing a lot of stories where a lot of white people are saying they never knew of what happened. They never even heard of Black Wall Street, things like that. And even now, right, there's a push to
Mhm.
prevent, exclude certain stories
Yes.
into the history books that, you know, people are now becoming more open to hearing these stories, but there's select communities that are like, nope, nope, we don't keep our history the way we have always written it, how we've learned it. So with the story recently in a couple TV shows, I know Lovecraft Country that was on HBO and Watchmen that was on HBO kind of talk about a little bit of what happened in Tulsa in the storyline
Mhm.
of those two shows. I think ABC News has a podcast actually that is out now talking about Tulsa and what happened. And 2 weeks ago or so, there was a survivor, a 107-year-old woman who went to a committee and spoke to Congress about what happened at Tulsa. And she was saying, even at 107 years old, she still has nightmares of what happened 100 years ago. She still has nightmares of what happened. Um, and there has been a push about giving like reparations to descendants of that area because as Lori said in read in that story, this was called Black Wall Street. It was a very wealthy at that time community of Black people who were doing well for themselves, and unfortunately, all their businesses, everything, their way of life was ruined in those 2 days. So they got to miss out on a lot of building of wealth with losing
Right.
their businesses and things like that. So if you don't know about the story, you want to learn more, I'm sure there's a lot of different things, the podcasts, stories, articles that are out or will be coming out soon because of the anniversary of what happened. Um, very, very sad to hear. I think, as you said, I've heard up to like 300 and some people died during that, what happened, but they don't have the exact numbers. And just recently, as a few years ago, they were actually they think there was a mass burial site that is like not documented, and they were trying to um, figure
Unearth
out
it.
what the word, but dig up and search that area to see if they could find any remains from possible victims there.
Well, on our channel, we do want to talk about, Black excellence, but we also want to tell our stories. We want to make sure that, if you never heard about it, that you have the opportunity to at least hear an inkling, and then you can kind of do your research and find out more information. Um, I mean, like I said, I didn't grow up learning these type of stories. I guess maybe because I wasn't maybe in certain spaces sometimes. And then you're not learning it in school. So then how else do you hear these stories? Not on the news. It's not, So um, hopefully we can share a bit of things, and then do your research and find out. I think once you hear about one story, there's also things that tie into hearing about another story. That's how I've figured some things out too. But in talking about our history and celebrating Black excellence, we have our Queen of the Week.
Yes. So this week, we are naming Simone Biles, the U.S. gymnast, our Queen of the Week. She recently did one of them little flip things for the first time in history. And so, reading from theringer.com, it says that she attempted a move called the Yurchenko double pipe, and is named in honor of a Russian gymnast, Natalia Yurchenko. No other woman had previously performed this move in competition, not even Yurchenko, not even the person they named this move after. But Simone did, and they described this move as a round off onto the springboard and then a back handspring onto the vault, at which point they are tasked with channeling enough momentum to launch skyward, flip twice with their body folded and legs straight, and open just in time to stick a landing.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot to be doing in like 3 seconds, because by the time they run
practice. Oh, all right. Let me practice this move. Then you connect it with that move. I'll be falling everywhere. I just have bruises.
You, girl. But yes, so Simone is the first woman ever to attempt this double pike in competition and land it. And so we want to say, yay, congratulations, Queen, for representing Black excellence. And you are our Queen of the Week.
Woohoo! Wonderful. So thanks again for watching our channel and going through some topics with us. Sometimes we'll drop this in there, hot topics that's going on in the world or what's in the news. If you have any topics that you want to hear our opinions about, you could also put that down below in the comment section. We will reply and probably add it to a future show of ours. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, because we know if you're watching, you're subscribed. And make sure you click that thumbs up button, and look out for our future episodes or catch up on our past one. So, like we like to say, always remember to protect your throne. Bye.